Do you ever feel wobbly in lunges or feel like your hips are too tight for you to really get in and feel any form of a stretch? Well, this is day 5 of Start Yoga here, and today I will guide you through a few different ways to find stability and ease in both your low lunge and your crescent pose. You're leaving this feel comfortable and confident regardless of your flexibility. So let's get started. If you haven't warmed up already, now is your chance to press pause. Go do one of our warm ups, either something on your own, or we have a bunch of warm up movements outlined in our 7 days for Yoga Foundations guide. If you're warmed up and ready to go, let's start with a little bit of centering. We'll start today standing. So feet are going to be about hips distance apart. Bring the arms to the side. And just take a few breaths. Closing the eyes here. Feel the feet planted firmly on the ground. Deep breath in. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. One more deep breath in here. On your exhale, send that breath all the way down through the roots of your feet. And you can open your eyes. So we'll start today with our Anjaneyasana, or our low lunge. So this is one of those postures that you see a lot on Instagram. And a lot of people think that you need just these beautiful, flexible, long lines. But one of the myths about that is it really makes it more comfortable for people who are already flexible to get into those postures with those long lines. But oftentimes when we're in those really, really long, really expansive postures, it means that we've actually neglected the strength aspect of asana, or of the posture. So there is kind of a little bit of a push and pull and some alignment that we'll want to get into that'll make it a little bit more accessible for you and will not only increase your flexibility, but it'll also help to improve your strength. We'll start today with some blocks. So if you have some blocks, grab them. If you have books, Tupperware, shoe boxes around the house, those will also be incredibly helpful. And let's try it together. So let's get started here. We'll have 2 blocks. And first I'll show you without, and then we'll jump in. So we'll start with our left leg forward here. So coming into your low lunge, the setup is going to be the front knee is over top of the ankle. We have our toes up in front of us, and we're coming forward from the back here. So we have a nice 45-degree angle line kind of running across. And oftentimes when you see these poses, sometimes you'll see these long, beautiful lines of people getting incredibly deep and incredibly flexible into these postures. We're going to learn today how to activate the strength aspect. So first you want your knee to be over top of your ankle. This is generally you want to be able to see your toes, and we don't want to move any further forward past that. If this feels uncomfortable on the back knee, you can always grab a blanket or a cushion and place it underneath the back knee for a little bit of extra support. So in terms of alignment, as we sink into this, we notice that our hip actually automatically kind of sways out to the side a bit. So what we'll do here is I'm going to picture you imagining that there is a string running along the front leg, and it's actually pulling back. So notice that micro movement of just pulling back. And at the same time, we're pressing the right hip forward. So there's a little bit of a push-pull tension between the two. My ribs are also a little bit flared out here, and so I want you to also think of tucking the tailbone under and knitting the ribs together, engaging them together. So you'll notice immediately you feel a lot more tension, maybe a little bit of stress in the muscles themselves, because you're not just leaning into that flexibility. So activating the legs, you'll feel them actually actively squeezing towards each other. Fingertips can be rested on the blocks just underneath the shoulders to relieve a little bit of the pressure. Take a deep breath in here. Notice that your muscles still engaged. If you want a little bit more, you can place the hands on top of the thighs. You can place them on the hips, or you can place them overhead. these different degrees bear a little bit more weight down. Take one more deep breath in here. And then exhale, I'll ask you to just switch sides here. So we're bringing the left leg back and the right leg comes forward. Coming into this alignment again, this push-pull motion and our core engagement. So we'll start here, setting up our basic Anjaneyasana, knee over top of ankle, toes spread nice and wide, and notice the slight angle here. Again, I'm not necessarily dumping in and creating these Instagrammable lines, but instead I'm trying to focus on the integrity of the posture and the benefits that it has for my body. So I am setting up my lunge. I notice that my left hip is splayed out to the side. So I'm thinking push-pull motion. String pulling this hip forward, string pulling this hip back, twist. So you'll start to feel the engagement immediately as it kind of sinks into the hip joint. And then what's going on with your core? Maybe you can place a forearm over top of the ribs and one at the tailbone to help guide your ribs in, nice tall spine. Feel free to use those blocks. Placing them just underneath the fingertips. And you can always go a little bit further forward with this as well. The further forward, you won't feel as much intensity bearing down. Remember that blanket can always be underneath. If you want a little bit more, hands onto the quad, the hips, or overhead. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let go. And coming out of it, coming up to standing, and maybe shaking it out just a little bit. Now let's get into our Anjaneyasana or our Crescent Pose. Very similar alignment and setup as our Low Lunge or Anjaneyasana, but instead it's a little bit more intense. It feels a lot more on the legs. It's our high lunge posture. So the knee actually won't be down for this one. At any point, you are always able to drop the knee down. Just when you do some transitions, you might need to pick the back knee up to get into those. But let's get started with our high lunge. Let's start this time on the right side. So step the right foot forward. That right leg is going to be feeling it. We're bending into the right knee. Let's start with our hands on our hips. The blocks aren't necessarily as helpful here, but you can always go onto a wall for balance. So the trick is stare down at your feet. And if you find yourself feeling really off balance, there's a chance that you're balancing on a tightrope. So we want this kind of like two train tracks. We want them to be supporting each other and be able to be balanced, but we don't want to feel like we're going to fall over. So bend into the front knee. We've got our nice 90-degree angle here. Toes are spread nice and wide. And you can see that my heel is lifted here and my knee is up. So we really don't want to bend into the back knee too much because we're not rooting down and pressing into the floor. So we're shifting the weight almost forward into the front leg and working on straightening the back leg. Push, pull motion, right hip comes back, left hip comes forward, and we engage the core. Hands can be at the hips here, or maybe arms overhead. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Notice the engagement. Are the feet magnetizing towards each other? You're starting to feel the activation in the quad and the back of the hamstrings. One more deep breath in. Exhale, hands to the hips. Shift the weight forward, grabbing onto a wall if you need to. And step yourself forward. Let's do the other side. Shifting over to the left. Right foot comes back, setting up your lunge. Heel is nice and high. One side might feel a little bit better than the other. Notice how your balance is. Are you rooted firmly in the ground? Bend into it. Push-pull motion. Core is engaged. Maybe you can sink a little bit lower, but remember, knees aren't going over the ankle or over the toes right now. And then maybe the arms come overhead. Deep breath in. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. And then slowly drop it down, shifting the weight over toward the left. Step both feet together. Rise it up. and do a little dance, shake it out, whatever you need to do to make your legs feel a little bit more alive. So now let's practice a little bit of a transition, just moving one to the other. Let's get started in our high lunge on the right side. So we'll do a little U shape. You'll see what I mean. We're going to go down and then up on the other side. Right toes forward. Have your blocks kind of at the ready in case you need them. Breathing in. Setting up your crescent with the right foot forward, left. Heels back. Check your posture. This will become like second nature to you, sitting it up. Arms are up. Take one deep breath in. Exhale, lean forward. Drop the hands. Drop the back knee. Inhale, arms come up. Check your posture. Exhale, coming down. Shifting the weight over towards the left knee. Right knee comes back and we switch sides. Setting up your alignment. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, sink into it. Inhale. Drop the hands, rise it up with the back knee. Back knee is lifted. Exhale, settling up into the posture. Maybe you'll feel a little bit of a balance trick like I just did. Sink a little bit lower. Deep breath in. Exhale, drop it down. And then stepping forward, so moving your weight into the left foot. Feel free to take a block for some balance. And then bring the right foot forward so that they're both on an even plane. We'll do a little bit of a halfway lift here. Exhale, drop it down. And take a gentle seat. Doing a quick body scan before we fully wrap up. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, you can close the eyes. Deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. Continue to watch your breath. Notice how your body feels. Notice if you're hugging the shoulders up, if you're clenching your jaw. Notice how the backs of the legs feel. Or maybe your arms feel a little bit tired. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. And slowly, when you're ready, you can open your eyes.